excited today. Welcome to my channel, and I want us to learn something today about marketing. And in market, I want us to learn about marketing of cabbages. Now, I know most people do vegetable farming, and they grow cabbages for consumption and for the market. For me, I want to talk about marketing of cabbages, especially for small-scale farmers. See, for example, if you look at my small piece of land, there's an extension to the lower side. There's a lot of loss here. I have lost a lot. If you look at, I have not sold enough for because of some reasons. Now, when you are growing cabbages as a small-scale farmer, there's something that you really have to understand. Something that you really have to understand. Number one, you need to understand that you should not grow cabbages. Can I say for the market? You should not. Your aim should be producing as much as possible in that small piece of land that you have in terms of quality and quantity. Now, there are some farmers who grow cabbages aiming at a point in time when the prices will be high. I did so in my case. I was aiming at getting a good market in January when the schools have opened, but COVID came, and so schools were not opened in time. And even when schools were opened, most of them were in debt, and so they tried to minimize even the consumption of these cabbages by the students, so we could not get good market. So number one, it's good to look at the market, to look at ahead and look at when you will have the market. But it is good that you aim at producing as much as possible from your small piece of land, so that even if you miss the market, a very good market, I mean, you can sell them to the available market at a lower price, but you're able to get some good money out of it. And when you're producing, make sure that in business, you reduce the costs and maximize on the output. So maximize, produce as much as possible in the small piece of land that you have. Number two, in marketing of cabbages, look at your customers. Are you selling to institutions like schools, hospitals, or you are selling to individual farmers? If you are a small scale farmer, you cannot be contracted to farm to sell to institutions, because your quantity is small. You will always be selling to individual buyers in various markets. Now, when you're selling to individual buyers, most buyers, especially in my country, Kenya, they prefer the small-headed cabbages. Why? Because they consume them once and they're over, and they're also cheap. So if you grow the big-headed ones, like varieties like the ones I grew in the Globe Market varieties, most farmers won't go for them because they are more expensive, and then they cannot be consumed at once, so they can go bad in storage. So they prefer the small-headed ones. So when we're growing these, choose the small-headed varieties so that you can produce large. You know the quantity that you produce, or the number of cabbages you grow in your piece of land also depends on the size. The bigger headed ones, spacing is wider. The small headed ones, the spacing is smaller. So you grow many cabbages in a small piece of land. So you will grow the small headed ones in that small piece of land, and then you are able to sell easily and get your money. Compare the big headed ones, you grow, the spacing is wide, you grow few cabbages in the market, so there you sell them at the same price as the small headed ones. So you look at the size. Number three, when you have reached the time of selling your cabbages, don't depend on one buyer. I depended on one buyer who promised that she was going to come and take my cabbages. So I told the other buyers not to come. And so when it came to a time when this buyer came, she said that the cabbages are not to the standards that are required in whichever institution she's supplying. When I tried to call the other buyers that I had told to keep off, they told me that they are not ready to come. They had got other farmers. So I had all this loss here. So make sure you have options when you're selling. And if it means even writing, having a written contract, please do have. But because in small scale farming you may not write all those contracts, may be expensive, make sure that you have options. Don't rely on one buyer. Have options. In case this one fails, you make sure you have another one. Don't fear selling cabbages to buyers who come to your farm because somebody had promised you that he's going to come. Please make that money. Make that money as fast as possible, because cabbages are perishable crops. The moment they stay in the farm, they go bad. I remember after she promised, they stayed in the farm for almost a week. I called another buyer. He told me that he sorry can't help because they had already, the leaves have already started drying. And so I made all this process. So number one, look at your market. Number two, ensure you're producing, the quantity is high per unit area. Number three, ensure that you minimize your costs and maximize on profits. Otherwise, you guys, I hope you have learned something. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and comment. I want to believe that you will subscribe to my channel, like and make a comment and a critique if possible. Thank you.